I have here some Tecbears PLA filaments on the testing, PLA Plus versus Silk, High Speed versus Matte, Regular versus Matte, and High Speed versus Classic. Welcome to my tech fun. Tecbears contacted me if I want to test their filaments. I can see they are a US-based company. The address is listed on their website, but on the box I can see a Chinese address, so maybe the manufacturing is located in China. I'm not sure. And I wrote back that I can see they have a regular and matte PETG filaments, and I can compare them, send them in the same color, but they told me at that moment they didn't have the matte version. Okay, then I saw that they have many PLA filament types, and I told them to send me all types PLA, but in the same color. Well, they didn't have the same color, so instead they sent me this in a pair. So I have here 4 colors. Here you can see the list of the filaments I got. And what will I test? Yes, first of all, I got these boxes for free, but there is no additional payment by Tecbears. But this video and the whole channel is sponsored by Polymaker. So what will I test? Well, for the PLA I can see that usually viewers are not so interested about the mechanical properties except for the layer adhesion, and I'm also very curious about it, so the most important is the layer adhesion test, but a little bit different, you know, with the 2 walls and 20% infill, and also I will print some additional figures, properly that low poly owl, because I don't want a reduction in the speed during the printing, because this is very tricky to choose the correct speed for this. These are high-speed PLA, they can be printed on higher speeds. Matte usually requires lower speeds, and similar. In most cases we have a suggestion for the temperature range in the function of speed, but somewhere I don't have any information, so I have to unbox them, and I hope I will get additional information on the spool itself. And now I have the missing informations too, because they are missing on the box. And before we analyze the table and choose the temperatures, these spools reminds me to all the Sunloop spools. And the reason why Sunloop moved to the newer spools is this diameter of the hole. This one is over 70 millimeters, and this means it's too big for the AMS slide, because I wanted to print everything on the A1. Of course I have to use the adapter or external spool holder. The outer diameter is fine, 195, so for the regular AMS it is okay. 56 millimeters wide. This is the table I prepared from the information given on the spools, the recommended print temperature for these speeds. And these are the print temperatures I will use in my printings, usually 5 degrees Celsius below the maximum recommended, but except here I just don't want to go below 220. And these are the speeds I will use for my printings. And just one more information from them. They mentioned that PLA Classic material is the same as a high-speed matte PLA, only this is their labeling for overseas spools. All my printings I wanted to do on the A1, but I don't have enough adapters here, and I decided that it's much simpler to use H2S and the AMS2 Pro. Slicer settings. These are my test objects. They are printed with 2 watts and 20% rectilinear infill. And I have 2 owls, so I don't have the reduction in the speed on the smallest cross-section area. It will be 200 or 250. Generic PLA profile, but of course the temperature will be modified according to recommendation on the box, and also the maximum volumetric speed. And the part cooling 100% as usual, typical for the PLA. First 2 spools are opened, and inside we have the desiccant and this clip for locking end of the filament. I will contact them and ask for the material. It is important for the drying. And these 2 spools have very similar speeds and temperatures, only this one is matte and this one should be some kind of glossy or regular filament. The printing of test objects in full speed. There is no slowing down. Now it's printing only the owls. The layer test objects are finished, and it's slowed down because of the minimal layer printing time. PLA Classic or matte. Well, the color is a little bit different, but yes, definitely I can see that this is more matte filament and this is more glossy. The difference is not big, but these are not same colors, so not really comparable. Next 2 filaments, and again desiccant and clip is inside, and these are purple filaments, regular and matte, but I can see these 2 colors are different. And looks like this color requires high temperatures, hence lower speeds. Regular PLA, printed on 235 degrees Celsius and 200 mm per second speed. PLA matte printed on same speed like previous one, but I can see some stringing, and this was printed on highest temperatures, 240 degrees Celsius, and not really 100% sure are these good recommendations. Spider net. I was not happy with the previous surface quality, so I'm reprinting these test objects on 220 degrees Celsius, so 20 degrees lower than the previous one, and it's much better now, no stringing, and I'm curious about the layer adhesion. And I have the red filament with the same type, and there the printing will be on 230 degrees Celsius. These are all pink colors, but quite different. Regular PLA quite shiny, and these are two matte filaments, remember? So this is printed on high temperatures. I don't really like this surface, and on 220 the surface is nice, still matte, but I'm very curious about the layer adhesion. And even on these test objects I can see the difference in surface quality. Much nicer. Next two filaments are in gray color, PLA Plus, which can be printed on higher speeds, and Silk PLA, which has to be printed on higher temperatures but lower speeds. PLA Plus, Silk PLA. PLA Plus looks almost like some matte filament next to this silk, and this is one of the nicest silver color I tested so far. And now three red filaments, High-Speed PLA, PLA Classic, which is also a matte filament overseas, and PLA matte filament. These two can be printed on higher speeds, this one on a slower speed. Isn't this confusing? Oh, now I noticed, this one bag is resealable. Well, actually was resealable. High-Speed Classic Matte. Loaded, ready for printing. High-Speed PLA, temperature 225 and the speed 250. PLA Classic, same temperatures and speeds like previous one. PLA Matte, same filament type like that green version where I printed on two different temperatures. This is printed on 230 between those two temperatures, and I'm not really too happy with this surface, but I'm not reprinting this one. Actually it is not so bad, let's take a closer look. From left to right, High-Speed Classic and Matte, and yes, this High-Speed is the shiniest, but the difference is not so obvious, and I really like these two matte filaments, especially this one because it can be printed on higher speeds. Well, that was work, but now it's time for the fun part, and my youngest daughter ordered this dragon egg, which must be from the silver color, and the dragon must be purple. But I still think that for the dragon, the green color is better. Am I right? One of the nicest silver color. But for the PLA, the A1 is better. Let me show you something. Overhangs came out quite ugly, and here they are completely clean. This is from the inside and from the outside. The part cooling is set to 100% on both printers. But for the PLA, the A1 is better. Just quickly to check the weight, regular PLA. Quite different. Let's see them on the graph. I saw them in order because the difference is quite big. I couldn't find any correlation between the speed and the mass, but I noticed, for example, these 5 are all matte filaments and they are heavier. Remember, even this PLA Classic is some kind of matte filament overseas. This means something is added to these filaments and their density is higher. Is it important? I'm not sure, I just noticed it. Layer adhesion test, average from 3. On left side you can follow the previous measurings. Let's analyze them on a graph. The weakest is the Silk PLA, so no surprises here. Second weakest are two Classic filaments. And then interesting to notice that the same filament, PLA matte, printed on two different temperatures, have very similar layer adhesion. So I can see no reason why should we print this on so high temperatures. Same for this matte filament. I mean, the surface is quite ugly and there is no big difference in the layer adhesion. And the two strongest are PLA Plus in silver color and just a regular PLA in purple color, so this means filaments without any special additives and properties. Before conclusions, a quick question. What would you like to see in my future PLA testing videos? Because obviously I'm doing something wrong. My latest PLA reviews stuck below, 5,000 views, which is very low. I mean, obviously I'm doing something wrong. I can see my colleagues, similar size YouTubers, they do a review about some PLA filaments, print some figures, and they have sometimes even 10 times more views than I do. So maybe I should simplify my testing. Is it overcomplicated? About these Tecbears filaments, I really like the good layer adhesion. Some of my favorites are PLA Plus and regular PLA, but actually this silk or silver PLA is one of the nicest silver color I ever tested. So if you want to print figurines or something like that which don't need high layer adhesion, I really highly recommend this filament. To Tecbears, I would highly recommend to replace these spools as soon as possible, because A1 with the AMS Lite or Snapmaker U1 are very popular printers, and users will be lazy to print these adapters. By time they will rather buy some other brands which can go directly to these spool holders. Well, this was my experience with the Tecbears PLA filaments. If you have some other, few lines down in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video till the end, and as always, happy printing!